Hi everyone, my name is Rhiannon from Blue Dog Board Games, and today we are going headfirst into this massive solo experience of Bitoku. Now, Bitoku is a 1 to 4 player, very large, widespread, point salady Euro game, worker placement and dice placement, and lots of different mechanisms in this one. Absolutely gorgeous to look at. And the solo mode is notorious for being difficult to handle and very large in scope. So please bear that in mind today. I'm going to do my absolute best to get all the rules correct. I have played it quite a few times, so I am reasonably familiar with it. But because we're recording today, my mind is going to be in like lots of different places at once. So just bear that in mind. I will try and pop any mistakes that I do notice during the editing process in the subtitles. So as well, this is an absolutely massive game to have out on the table. So unfortunately, the top of the actual board is cut off. But what I will do throughout the playthrough is, because we do interact with it, but just not that often, what I will do is explain what I'm doing and have like a little screenshot of where I am and what's going on, so you can like see how it works in the game. But other than that, you can see for the most part, most things is just, there's so much going on. I can't physically fit it all in the shop. So to play Bitoku solo, you actually need to, it's an AI that you're playing against, and you have what's called a TAC, a Tengu activation cycle. The opponent you're playing against is the Tengu, and it's like a massive list of criteria you're checking against. What I'll do in the first couple of like automatons is go through that checklist with you and explain like what I'm doing. But what I've actually found online, and it's been very useful to me, is a flow chart, and I'll put the link of the very kind person that has designed this and pop this up for everyone to use on Board Game Geek. So you can use it as well if you want to, but I just find that a lot quicker to resolve, and I'll probably cut a lot of that decision process out during the editing because it is long-winded. It is definitely something that you get more used to. And there is a fantastic app as well that is in development. I'm not sure if it is continuing to be developed because it is in beta at the moment, and it has not been like interacted with for a little bit. So I'm not sure if this is like a project that's been pended for the time being, because unfortunately I'm not able to use that today because I'm filming with some of the from my phone that I usually use to use that app, but also the app is unfortunately in a beta state and it does crash for me. So I can usually get half a game out of it, which is absolutely fantastic because it is one of the best things in a solo game that I've found to be implemented. It makes this game like brilliant to play. It just speeds it along so much, but unfortunately we can't use that today. So we're doing it old school. Anyway, enough waffling on. We're going to get straight into this game. And if you have a look down at the center of the table, you will see the solo game set up for Bitoku. It's very much set up like a 2-player game. This is my player area down here. I am in yellow, as usual. And the Tengu is going into brown today. They have like a deck of cards that they're going to be interacting with, and that's going to be determining what they're doing. And I get to just do my actions as normal. So we're just going to get straight into it. So what happens, they're always first player unless you go to a certain place on the board and you become the first player. They by default start first player all the time. And that unfortunately is off the screen. What I'll do is pop a screenshot of that up now so you can see there's 2 places. This is the 1 to 2 player version of the board. You can flip it and then it goes to 3 to 4 player. You've got your 2 meeples there which determine the player order. But we have got a very handy like player aid here that we're going to go down because it's like a full list of everything. It's very simple to go through when you know what's going on, but I know that it's incredibly overwhelming when you first get it out. And it was one that I bought and I was like, I don't know whether this is going to be for me because there's just so much here. But it definitely is. I love it. So first of all, we're going to summon the yokai. So I'm going to draw cards until I have 4 in my hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I'm going to discard down to 3. So these are my yokai. And these sort of determine what actions you're going to be doing on your turn. So you've got like symbols at the bottom. And they all have like a different spiritual species. I think these are your like little spirit animals that you're using. So they've all got symbols at the side, and we have little scoring criteria here. So the AI starts with 2 different ones. That's what they're going to be like collecting throughout the game. I've got one at the moment and I can gain more from the rock garden later on in the game. But my goal is to like focus on Mitama spirits, and Mitama spirits, it cuts it off very slightly here, but we've got little Mitama spirit tiles down here to collect. So I want frost spirits, and I call them poison spirits. They're like wild cards. So we're going to be looking for those. So I'm actually eyeing up this one down here. I'd need a jade to buy him. When you see the like big red down arrow, that means pay. You have to pay. When you see like a thumbs up, golden thumbs up symbol, that means you can purchase for a discount. So it's slightly unusual symbology here, but you get used to it. But yeah, it was a shock when I first got this out. So on that basis, I'm going to keep this Shin Ukami in my hand because that would allow me to take a dragonfly or a Mitama spirit, and I'm eyeing up this Mitama here. I think I want to gain a crystal, so I'm going to keep you in the Nozumi. And I'm probably going to keep the Kitsune as well, because then I can get some more jade or sake. And if sake is quite often used to buy Mitama spirits, so I'm going to discard the, excuse my pronunciation, the Omonushi. I'll just pop him off screen, then we can reshuffle that later. There we go. So that is our part in spring. There is like a pagoda, which you can like tick across as you like resolve spring, summer, autumn, winter. But I find that you spend the majority of your time in summer and the rest of the phases go by really quickly. So I'm like, I don't really see the point in doing that, if I'm honest. But there is a fantastic spirit at the end that ticks along the counter for the rounds. The only other thing that we would be doing in spring is reaping the fruits. So we have like spaces up here for some crystals, and they have like symbols, their hands like holding out, like waiting to receive something. So this is where you can put crystals and you receive these benefits every round. But I don't have anything at the moment. It's the very first round of the game. So what we're going to be doing is resolving their spring turn. Now, let me check what they are doing in spring. So basically they are not really interacting with any of their cards. They sort of do that behind the scenes, but they're going to be spending movement points for all crystals that they have. Now, if we have a look, this is where they collect their crystals. So they don't have anything at the moment. So we're going to go straight into the summer turn. And this is where all of the magic happens. Okay, so as we said, they are the first player. So they're going to go first. And what happens on their turn is they are rolling 2 die. And we take the lowest value. So this is a 1. This card here would be selected if it's a 1 or a 2. This is 3 or 4, and this is 5 and 6. So we are resolving this card here. Now we have to have a look at the Tengu activation cycle and see what they are going to be doing on their turn. Basically, they're going to be doing things like unlocking their die, simulating like playing a card from their hand like we will do on our spaces on our board, placing die in the forest area, crossing the river with their die, lots and lots of different things. I can tell you now, like off the top of my head, I suspect it's going to be unlocking this number 2 die and perhaps taking some resources. So we're going to be resolving it like we should be doing and following down this lovely booklet. The Tengu activation cycle. So this is where we have to check. So the Tengu has a contested crossing. So he hasn't placed on the board yet, so we can skip that all together because he's not at a contested crossing. He's not even at a crossing. The location shown at the bottom of the Tengu card is available. Yes. Then you go to the second one. Does it satisfy that? The Tengu has no unlocked dice, but has at least 1 locked die. Yes. The Tengu attitude tile is inactive. So this is the attitude tile. This just slightly determines which pathway it takes in this like decision process. I think like it's only ever become active once in one of my games. So if it's active, I think it becomes a little bit more aggressive for a turn or two. But it is inactive at the moment. It starts on the inactive side. So we're nearly there, but then the last one says the active Tengu card is in the leftmost position in the card row. So that would be if we've rolled a 5 or a 6. That does not happen. So we proceed to step C. Does it satisfy that? That one needs at least 1 unlocked die. We skip that one then. So I think we're doing D. So the Tengu has at least one locked die. It has all three, so yeah. And the Tengu has the associated resource, or the card shows no associated resource. Okay, so I lie. The associated resource here is a jade. The Tengu starts with one word and one sake. So he does not have the associated resource. So he's going to go to E at contested crossing. Nope. Next one, he has at least one unlocked die. Nope. And then, so we're at G now. The Tengu has at least one locked die. Yes. And so he's going to unlock one die. So he's going to start from the lowest to the highest. The values of the Tengu never change in the game. And he has a 2, 3, and a 4. So he's going to unlock his 2, take the jade, and that's it. So you can see, like, it's so long-winded, but I've got my little flow chart, which I will go down, and I think I'll do that next time so you can see the difference in like how quick it is. It's so much quicker to do it visually through a flow chart and then just resolving a little bit on some like cards rather than like go down all these sentences. But anyway, that is their turn. So what happens now is we discard that. These all shuffle down. We draw a new one, and then it's our turn. So on my turn, I have a couple of options. I can play one of these cards and activate the benefit, which also unlocks one of these die. That's the only option I've got to me at the moment. Otherwise, if I've got unlocked die, I can place those in the forest. So we're just going to go ahead and play a card. So what is my overall plan so far? I think I do want to focus on trying to get a Mitama as soon as possible, which means I want to play this guy, the Shin Ukami, which would be fabulous. And then what would my aim be? I think I want to try and get some movement points as quick as possible as well. So let's just play that. So we're gonna play him into this space here. You can see you've got 3 different spaces. You can choose. My die start differently to his. He starts 2, 3, and 4. I start 1, 2, and 3, which is annoying. So there's a little bit of a cycle you go through. You unlock the die first of all. You activate your little symbol down here. You ignore the victory points at the bottom. They're for a different part of the cycle. So I can take a dragonfly or a Mitama spirit. Now, here are your dragonflies here. I've already got one. We start the game with 1. But what I'm going to be doing is grabbing this Mitama spirit. This tells me I need to pay a jade, and you can't see it, but there are victory points you gain for this as well. So let me pay a jade. I get 1 victory point for taking this one. And what happens, it's so complicated to explain this game. Basically, when you take a Mitama, you can activate the ability on the tile immediately. If you take a dragonfly, you do not activate that tile ability immediately. You can only activate a dragonfly once you've combined it with a Mitama. So I am activating this Mitama spirit tile immediately, and I can choose to either unlock a die or take a amulet, which increases the strength of my die. I think at this point I'm going to unlock my die, so I'm going to unlock this middle one here. Then I get to combine this with a dragonfly, and that means because this dragonfly is combined, I can now activate him. So I can take a rock, and I get 2 victory points. So grab those 2. Now I can take a rock from the rock garden here, and I'm just gonna have a look at these to see which ones I think I might want. I'm a bit afraid of going too heavy on the Mitama, perhaps, because we've got a yokai one here, another yokai one here, and 2 Mitamas. Wonder if it is better to go heavy Mitama. Shall I go heavy Mitama? Let's go heavy Mitama. So we've got 4 spaces for rocks on our board, and these will be gradually like going in the solo game. At the end of every single round, one of them gets taken out. There we go. So that is our go. We have unlocked our die, done our action, and that's triggered a couple of things there. So then we're back to the Automa's turn. So let's roll our die. a 1 is the lowest again, so he's going to be taking this one as his active one. Now I'm going to swap over and have a look at my little flowchart here. I require 3 sheets to resolve this. So, is there at least 1 die left to place? Yes. Is there a contested crossing on the board? No. Is the location available? So the location is the color at the bottom. So you see this is like a statue, this is like purpley, which matches this location. And this is a jade location, which is over here. So yes, the location is available because we've not yet placed anything here. And is there an unlocked die? Yes. C. So he is going to be activating C. If we have a look at C, place the unlocked die at the location. So he's going to go over here. He's going to advance the Kodama. So the Kodama are the little, little tiny turnip spirits. So these are like a little race. Whoever is furthest along the track at the end of the game gets victory points. And there's like a award for first place, second place, third place sometimes. There is a dummy one in a solo game, so this one, and a 2-player game as well. They stay stationary, so we're just going to advance the AIs once. And then we perform the action at the location. So if we have a look down here, where is it? Here. Excuse me. So Jade, Glade of Jade, he's going to take the 2 resources shown on the card. So he's going to take a wood and a stone and collect them up there. It says then if no resources are shown, 2 of the associated resource, then it advances its most competitive Kodama. So the most competitive Kodama is the one at which it could beat you quickest. So if you are 1 space, if from 1 Kodama area you are only 1 space in front of it, but the second one you're 2 spaces, the most competitive one is the one where it's only 1 space behind it because it can beat you quicker. So obviously we haven't really moved anywhere at the moment. The only thing we know is that this is definitely not its most competitive Kodama because it's winning on the track at the moment. So the next tiebreaker is the one that's going to reach its bigger victory points quicker. So this one is worth 6 points if it's in first place. So he's going to move this one up 1. And that is his go. You've got like a little symbol here. So he takes resources and the Kodama. I don't find the cards overly helpful, if I'm totally honest. I feel like they could have been done a little bit better. Anyway, we are onto our go. I think at this point, I want to try and get some movement points in, because I will show you what movement points do, and they're very useful. And also, unfortunately, he's going to go and get that one. I was eyeing up some of these little Bitoku cards, which are underneath the yokai. You've got 2 cards here. You've got these ones, and you've got these ones laid on top. All right, we're going to go and not think about it too much. We're going to go straight ahead and place in the forest over here at the Stairs of Knowledge. But what I'm going to do, I think, do I want to do this? Yes, let's do it. I'm going to spend this amulet to increase the value of this by 1. So this is actually a 4. What happens now is you can activate this down here according to the die value, but also there's buildings in these areas. So there's 4 slots. We start with a building in the leftmost bottom slot, and as long as your die value meets the criteria of at least 1 building, you can activate that building for its ability. So I'm going to activate this building. I've got a 4 and this only requires a 2. I can take an amulet of value 1. So I'm going to take my amulet right back again. Then, because I've got a value of 4 on my die, I can have 3 movement points. Now, movement points can be spent in a couple of ways. Both the Tengu has a little track here to go down, and I also have an identical one. We can obtain these Bitoku cards to expand our track, and we can travel on them. Our little footprint spaces are work placement spaces, so you can literally move along it, and you get benefits for each space you move. You get bonuses and victory points and things. And at the end of the game, they're all different spirits. So this is the Makoto spirit. It has a rarity value. So it tells you how many of those are in the game overall. And however many different ones you collect at the end of the game, the more points you get. So I think there's 7 different ones you can collect. So if you get all 7, you get the maximum points. But because I don't have any at the moment, I can't spend my movement points there, sorry. So we're going to pan to a little screenshot now of where I'm going to be moving to, and I will explain what I'm doing. But first of all, hang on. You use these pilgrims for your movement points. So I've got 3 unlocked pilgrims that are awake at the moment. The AI starts with all of his awake. The AI starts with all of his awake. I'm going to take one of my awake ones and we're going to go all the way up to this temple space. They are all, if you imagine, all of your pilgrims are at the temple to start with. It's just, they stay on your player board until you're ready to use them. So he's going to move 1 slot. I wonder, where do I want to go actually? Let me think about where I want to go. I think we're going to go for a bit of a race. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to that first footprint space outside the temple. So that's 1 movement point. 2, I'm going to move to the next footprint space along to the right. And then my 3rd movement point is I'm going to move up towards that blue temple spot. What happens then is you flip your little guy so he's upside down and sleeping. And I'm going to score the victory point. So you'll see that I've got 2 victory points that I can gain from that space. 1, 2. And there's also a tile next to it, which is the temple bonus tile. So this has a little dragonfly symbol and it has the thumbs up symbol next to it as well. So that means I can take a dragonfly tile with a discount. So let's think about that. I'm going to take this one then. So this one allows me, usually you have to pay a resource to grab this 3rd tile along, but I'm just going to take it for free because it allows me to get a discount. And as it's a dragonfly, I do not activate its ability immediately. He just stays on my board ready to be combined with a Mitama as and when. And that is my go. That was my 3 movement points. When I move next time along this like pilgrimage track, I can start from the furthest along footprint space at which I've got like a sleeping pilgrim. So because I've already progressed two footprint spaces along and put my pilgrim asleep to this temple, I can start further along and hopefully race along this track a little bit faster than he's going to now. And because the further and further along this track you go, the more victory points are available for you. Okay, so here's go. Again, he's rolling a 1, so we're gonna speed along and see what he's gonna be doing. So does he have a die left to place? Yes. No contested crossing. A contested crossing now would be if I had placed in this area. You'll see the board is sort of semi-split into 2 areas. And I believe, I haven't actually analysed the other side of the board for 3 to 4 players, but it's a little bit different when you play 3 to 4 players in terms of these are all 4 different areas. In the solo and 2-player game, it's sort of split into 2. So a contested crossing would only be if I'm in this space and then he's trying to cross the river and take one of these spaces as well as I am, so it's contested. Whereas I'm at this side of the river, he's not even looking at me, they're 2 separate areas. So he's not at a contested crossing. Is the location available? Yes, it is, because he wants to go to this area, purple area. Is there an unlocked die though? No. Leftmost card? No. Is there a locked die? Yes. No associated resource, or has the associated resource? Yes, he does. He's doing D. Unlock a die. Spend the associated resource, Jade, and don't place the die, but still perform the action. So he is at the, I think it's Lands of Yomi. So if the active card shows a dragonfly, which it does, the Tengu takes one randomly. So he's going to be taking a random dragonfly. There's like a section in the rule book which says something like, if it says take one randomly, roll a die, and then I don't know, if it's this, you go for the lowest value. Or I'm like, if it's random, I'm just going to do it myself. So basically I'm going to do, if I roll a 1 or 2, I'm going to take this one, 3 or 4, this one, 5 or 6, this one. It's the same thing. So you're going to get this one. And he just stacks on top of there. He does combine them with Mitama spirits as and when he gets them. And that's his go. All right, my go. So I actually have a couple of things that I can do. I can cross the river if I want to, which actually might be a good idea. That could be a really good idea actually. Or should I? No, what I'm gonna do is place a die. I'm going to spend this amulet to increase the value of this to 3. Sorry, the light caught it then. I thought the 5 was a 3. Place this in this section here. Remember, I can activate this down here. This is a value 2 building. So I can unlock a die. So I can unlock this one here. Did I want to do that? Yes, I did want to do that. Then I can resolve this. So I can take a dragonfly or a Matama spirit for a discount. So I'm going to grab this Matama spirit here for a discount. Usually I'd have to pay a sake, and I get 1 victory point. I can resolve this right now. Now I think what I actually want to do is grab the amulet. I think I want the amulet, not the movement point at the moment, because I don't really want to be placing a 1. And then I can combine this with the dragonfly to grab a crystal for a discount of 2. Now the crystals are down the bottom or here on the right. You can see them a little bit. As you go along to the right, they do get more expensive. So I do have a discount of 2, so I could grab that one if I wanted to. But then I don't know if I want this one instead, this pink one. They're all different things. So the purple crystals that have the like hands out symbol, which go at the very top of your board here, and they're like passive income every single round. The pink ones go these spaces, and they're activated every time you play a card next to them. And the orange ones are things like get triggered every time you do something. So it may be like every time you pick up one of these cards, you get 2 victory points. I don't want these 2. It's between these. What do I want? What do I want? An amulet every round would be quite useful. But then being able to unlock a die, we're going to go for this pink one actually. So what happens is I get it for free because I don't have to pay. This is a pink one, so this goes in these spaces here. I can choose. I'm going to go for this middle space here. And he awakens another pilgrim. So usually your pilgrims are like asleep on spots and you can't use them for any like tracks. So you need to like buy crystals and obtain crystals to unlock them. So that's pretty good, I think. Yeah, we're going to go with that. Next turn for them. Oh, okay, so they're going for their leftmost one. What are they doing? They're probably placing their die. So is there a die? Yes. Contested crossing? No. Location available. So this is what my one, I know it's complicated and so people can gripe about the complicatedness of this game, but my one gripe about this is just unnecessary. They've got, it says here, is the location available? So the location is like at the bottom of the card, the picture. This picture at the bottom of the card isn't the location. So this is actually like a big totem statue. And well, what do you mean is the location available? It's not a location. What it actually means is you've got to have a look back in the rule book and you then have to reference their rocks. So it does say if you are shown this like statue thing, the location actually depends on the rock that it's got that is not a yokai rock. So he has got a building associated one. So that means he is actually looking at the forges to be his location. I know. This is one of the rules that you'd be like coming back to this game 6 months later and it would be just completely overwhelming. So anyway, contested crossing. No, is the location available? Yes, there is. And is there an unlocked die? Yes. So he's doing C. He's placing the unlocked die at the location. So he's taking this 3 and popping it at the forges space. Now we have completely filled our like forest area now. You can place up here in the like home of the Great Spirit. So he's actually advancing his Kodama in that region and taking the action. So he is going to be building a, what's it called? Building, because he's trying to build buildings as part of his scoring. So what we do, sorry, I've got the wrong thing. So it's going to try and take its favorite building and the leftmost one if there's more than one. So his favorite buildings are the like green buildings and the red temples. So we've got a red temple here, and we don't have any grey buildings. So there's only one that he wants to build. So he's going to grab that one. And then it says you have to make sure you can place it legally and construct it where its most competitive Kodama is. So which one's the most competitive Kodama nowadays? So it's not this one, not this one. You've got 2 5s, so these are equally most competitive. I'm going to roll and see which one he goes for. He's going to go for this one over here. There we go. He places one of his buildings on it, so that is his building. And then what do we do there? Advance the Kodama in that region as well. There we go. So let me discard that. The way that we build buildings and do things is very slightly differently. You will also realize that we don't replenish these things. So your buildings and your dragonflies and everything, that's it for the round. They get replenished at the end of the whole round. So that's interesting. Yeah, buildings are, sorry, there's so many things I'm trying to tell you all at once. The buildings do work a little bit differently for us. Like they just push up their Kodama here, there and everywhere. When we build it, we have to look at what's actually on the tile. And like we get the benefit here. So we may also be getting amulets and things like that. I'm able to actually activate his buildings if I want to, but I give him a victory point if I do that, which is a little bit different than the multiplayer game. Anyway, our go. So our options are, we can place this die, but it would have to be up into the spirits area up here. I'm not entirely sure I want to do that. Really. I wonder if I should cross the river now. I think I might cross the river, you know, because then I could potentially get some more movement points at some point. What are we trying to do? We need some more Kodama as well, but actually there's no more Kodama that matches the symbol. There's like different elemental types of Mitama. You've got like ice. I know ice is an element, but just roll with me. There's like ice, water, earth, fire, and the poisonous ones, which are like a wild card. Thing is, he's going to be crossing the river twice as well. So, all right, we are actually going to cross the river, I think. So we're going to cross the river. What happens when you cross the river is you have to decrease the value of your die by 1. If it's a 6, you halve it. Mine is a 4, so I'm going to take it down to 3, and it actually doesn't matter which space I occupy. I believe in the 3 and 4 player game, it matters a lot more, and this bit is just slightly different because these two segments, these two areas here are then segregated. So the left-hand one is associated with this purple area, and the stairs of knowledge are associated with the right-hand side. But on this side of the board, it's all like mixed and matched. You don't need to worry about it. It's just the segment. Like down the middle of the board, you've got this area and this area. So we've crossed the river, and now we can take one of these bonuses. So I can choose to take the Bitoku card in either area. I can take the yokai card in either area, or I can take 2 non-equal ones of these actions, which include these, what are these called now? Vision cards, which are like final scoring things. You'll see if we start the game with 1, and this, I should pay attention to this. This means I have to build at least 1 building, get a pilgrim at an illusion space, or illumination space, which are the like orange ones that you can see on the pilgrimage track, which I'll pop another screenshot up so you can see those, the like orangey temple ones, and a resource at the end of the game. So I do need to think about building a building at some point, because otherwise I do have to lose a victory point. I think I might want this card. I'm going to take this Bitoku card, this yokai card, and he just goes straight into my hand. Yeah. Now normally, and I will actually do it this round so you can see what actually happens in a 3 to 4 player game. You have these big crosses which blocks off that action, so the next players can't take that action, because you're basically, there's a limited amount of spots here. It doesn't actually matter, but I'll do it this round, and so you can see that in a bigger player count game, you would be sort of like restricted the more further on in the round you go. So I have taken this yokai card. And so I pop that one there. So the next person would not be able to take a yokai card there. I don't know if there's multiple yokai cards that actually are there on the reverse board. I don't know. I haven't looked at it. Anyway, there you go. Okay, so theirs is a 4. I believe they're probably just going to be unlocking that die. So yes, there's still die, contested crossing. No, so the contested crossing, they've got 2 die over here, but these are both their die. So it's not a contested crossing at the river. It's only contested if I'm there as well, both trying to compete for these 2 final spots at the river spaces. Is the location available? So their location is the forges. So no. Is there a locked die? Yes. No associated resource or has it? Yes. So he is going to unlock his die, I believe, and spend the wood. So unlock a die, spend the associated resource, which is a wood, and then don't place the die but still perform the action. So unfortunately he's going to be flying through his buildings, I think. So what's he doing? Forges. So this says if the active card shows a crystal, which it does, here we go, the Tengu takes a random one, disregarding the resource cost. So I've got 3 here, so I'm just going to roll for it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to take this one, and he collects them here on this spot. And you'll see what they do later on. That actually activates in spring. And that's it. My go. So the only options that I have really are to place here, which I might do actually. Thing is, he's not going to be placing there because that's not on any of his spaces. So I don't know whether to just take a moment. These yokai cards that you're taking from these areas are much stronger than your base hand. So that's why I'm trying to collate them, because the Shinukami focuses very much on dragonflies and Matama spirits, and they're my rocks. That's the scoring criteria that I've got on my rocks. And also, which we'll get to in the winter phase, they allow you to score lots of points during the game. So at the very bottom, you've got victory points on all of these cards. And at the end of the round, you can choose to select one of these cards to remove from your game. You still score it at the end, essentially, but remove it from the game so you don't draw it any longer and score the associated victory points. And these the basic ones have 3 victory points on, but your ones that you gain from this area here, they actually have a different scoring criteria. So this shows me for every combined dragonfly and Matama spirit, I can gain 2 victory points up to a maximum of 12. So at the moment, I'd be only scoring 4 victory points, but if I wait another round or 2, I could collect a lot more of those, and it would be actually scoring me quite a lot of points. Ideally, I wanted this one as well, because he would give me a lot more points, but unfortunately, they're probably going to be taking both of those river spaces. Almost certainly, I don't think there's a way around that. So I'll ignore that. I won't worry about that. We are actually going to just take a moment and place this die. So I'm going to place this die. I can place this die, by the way, even though it's not got a card beside it, because it's already been unlocked from another action. So I can't remember where I got another unlock action now, potentially from this building here. So it's unlocked. I can now place it prior to even playing a card there. So I'm going to take this one. I'm not going to boost it. It's going to remain a 1. And I'm going to pop it into this space up here in the home of the spirit. And we may not get to that point, but he tends to compete with you in this area. And this is where it determines the player order. So if I beat him in this area this round, I actually will be first player next round, which can be quite useful. So I'm going to take an amulet of value 1, and I'm going to take a vision card. When you take cards in this game, you draw 2, choose one and discard the other. So let's have a look. Ideally, I want this one because it's worth more victory points at the end of the game. And yes, I'm quite happy with that, I think. So let's keep these 2. And you're going to go at the bottom of the deck. All right. That's just it for my go. So there you go. 3. So still a die left to place, no contested crossing. Is the location available? So there's still no forges available. Is there a locked die? No, they're all unlocked now. And is there a contested crossing again? No. So here we go. Is there a die in the home? No. So this is the home of the spirit. There is not a die there yet. Is there an unlocked die? Yes. So he's actually going to be placing there. So it says place an unlocked die on the first empty space from the second highest down in the home. So this is why I went in this space here, because number one, I wanted another vision card, but number two, he's always trying to place there. So now I'm going to actually force him into the space below me. So second highest down in the home, he doesn't, and he then has to go below me and advance that Kodama. So we've got to Kodama here as well. He pushes that one. He then scores 3 victory points, plus 2 victory points for every opposing die of value 5 or 6 below the river. I know, it's so many words. I feel like I'm just blurting rubbish out at you. So this guy has already crossed the river, so he's not counted. We're just doing below the river here. There's only 1 die that's contested or opposing him, and it's at value 3, so we ignore that part. He's just scoring 3 points. And there we go. That's it. My go. So the only options I have now are to play a card or cross the river. Oh, sorry, let's get rid of him because I want to actually see where he might be placing. Actually, he's not even got any die left to place. So what he's going to be doing is moving across his die across the river now. I think. I still don't know it like 100%, so I'm not 100% sure whether he could potentially not place a die and still do the action in some really weird circumstances that you don't see. I don't think so. But also I thought about that the other day as well. I was like, oh, he's not going to be able to move to that spot. And unfortunately he triggered a couple of bonuses, which then meant he did do that. I didn't see it, so that really screwed up my game. I think at this point we're going to just bide our time and we might just play a card. So I'm going to play... Ooh, actually... No, that's fine. We're going to play this one. So what happens is you'd unlock a die. I don't have a die to unlock. So I'm going to activate this here. So I can move up a Kodama somewhere on the board in any of the areas once. So let's go for, I don't know about competing with him for this one, for the 6 points, because that's going to be his like most competitive area if I'm competing with him. So I might go for the next one down, but then that means that will be most competitive. I don't know. I'm probably going to be going to this spot quite a lot. Not that that really matters. All right, let's move this guy up. I can then take a dragonfly or a Metama. I don't have much or any sake or jade to pay for these guys down here. So I'm going to just take one of these. For this one, I need to pay a resource, which I could pay a wood for. It could be quite good though, actually. Or should I take the Metama spirit? The dragonfly over here. We're going to take this one. And I actually gain a resource by taking this one over here. So I think I might take a jade or a sake. Let's take a sake. There we go. So that's 3. So at this point, they're probably just going to cross the river. So no die left to place. Is there a contested crossing? No. Can a die cross? Yes. Is a wanted yokai or Bitoku card there? So this is where it's checking against these cards that's available across the river. So this card here, it's telling you that it wants to take its favorite yokai. So you have a look at the rock and it tells you that it's looking for the like mouse type yokai. Or as a like a wild card, it wants to take one of the like grandma ones. Here's the grandma one. So unfortunately, or fortunately for us, it's only got like a wolf type and a froggy type one. So it does not have that. So let's find myself where I am on here. Can I cross? That's it. I think going forward in the next round onwards, I'll just do it myself. Otherwise, I lose where I am. Can I die cross? Yes. Is there a wanted yokai? No. So is there an unlocked die? No. Inactive. So this is where we're checking against whether this is inactive or active. It's inactive. So yes. Can I die cross? Yes. So it's all the way going to A. So we're going to cross the river. So when we are crossing the river, it's going to choose the die with the highest value. There we go, crosses. When you cross the river with the Tengu, it does not decrease its values of the die. They just remain the same throughout the whole game. And then it's going to take a wanted yokai or Bitoku, or at random if both are wanted. And again, if both types for the type and again, if both cards for the type are favourites or rarest. I need to actually just double check whether what it actually takes then, because I'm a bit confused. Hold on. I think I've actually found the slightest of mistakes then in this little flowchart. What I think it's actually trying to do, because this is saying the favourite card available, it's not got a favourite. So I think instead we're actually resolving K. Yes, no, I've done it wrong. It was my own fault. So we're actually resolving E, I believe. E. So that says we are, yes, that's the same as K. So there we go. It's a user error. So it says cross the river with the eligible die. So he's just done that. And take in order of availability a favourite yokai. There isn't. The rarest Bitoku in the reachable hills not already in the Tengu's path. So let's put all this aside. He is going to be taking the rarest of the Bitoku cards. So we've got one that's got a rarity of 2 and a rarity of 4. Rarity of 2 means there's only 2 available in the whole game. So he's going to be taking this one. And he's going to be adding it to his little pathway. So that joins there, which means he will be able to move onto that space at some point. Let's try and move these resources somewhere. So little space. And that blocks this off. And that's it. There we go. So there we go. We resolved that eventually. It is like almost certainly like user error when you find something that doesn't quite make sense. But as I said, this game is hefty. There's a lot going on, so just be kind to yourself when you're learning this. What do I want to do now? Do I want to gain a resource and stuff, or do I want to just go ahead and cross the river? So we're going to build the building, I think. Let me think. Do I want to actually cross the river instead? Would that be more useful? Not really at this moment in time. So I'm just going to play this card here. I don't unlock a die, so I can either build a building or gain a crystal. I'm going to build a building. So building buildings for yourself is slightly different from what they're doing. Here are our buildings down there. They have a cost to them. So I need to pay 1 wood to build this leftmost building. Take here. And I get to choose which building I want to build. I was just seeing whether they're going to be competing for anything, but they're not. I think what I might do is grab one that allows me to push up twice on the Kodama track. This is a blue building. Where do I want to place it? I was going to place it here, but this is already blocking. There's no blue space available here. I think I'll probably be using this unlock space a lot more here as well. So what I might do actually is place it up here. So I get to place my building there. And I get to do this top left action, which is advance my Kodama in this region twice. There we go. All right, his go. 4. Almost certainly going to cross the river again. That's basically all he can do now. So contested crossing, no. Can a die cross? Yes. Is there a wanted yokai or Bitoku card? Yeah, there, yes. So this time he is trying to get the rarest Bitoku card. And so when you're looking at the rarest Bitoku cards, you check across the entirety of the board. No, actually, I lie. Is it there? So the one that would be there is the rarity of 4. This one's rarity of 5, rarity of 5. So it is the rarest that is available. It's definitely there and he wants it. So yes, he is going to therefore cross that river. So cross the river, boom, take the associated card. So he's going to grab this one onto his track as well. There we go. And that's it. That's it. Good. So technically we should put this there as well. So that blocks that off. We now need to draw a card. So when that deck is empty, we reshuffle it. My go. The only thing then that I can do is I've played all my cards that I can. There's no die for me left to place. The only other thing that I can do is cross the river. So I'm going to cross the river. Decrease that by 1. What do I want? Do I want a yokai card? I'm not sure if I want the Yama Uba. I think I might want the Bitoku card right now. Then if I have movement points, I can just... No, sorry. I'm going to go for the Yama Uba. So he goes in my hand as well. Almost certainly they are going to pass, but we still have to like resolve it anyway, because there was a situation that it did matter whether or not I resolved it. I can't remember. I think there's some like hidden things that you just might not think about. So just make sure that they're definitely passing. So is there a die left to place? No. Is there a contested crossing? No. Can a die cross? No. Is there an unlocked die? No. Inactive? Yes. Can a die cross? No. Pass. So I'm also passing. So if you manage to like lock them out of turns a little bit, you can force them to pass. Not necessarily like too prematurely, but you can like have a couple of extra goes. So we've both passed. So that means we are proceeding onto autumn. This is like why I don't move the Kodama, the pagoda. The only thing that happens here is we are determining player order. We have a look here in the Home of the Great Spirit as to who is highest up. So I am highest up, so I become the first player, and I'm going to swap these counters in this pilgrimage area around. There we go. And that's it. Now we're on to winter. So in winter, what they are doing is, so they are just going to remove a random rock from the garden, and we're going to advance the Great Spirit. So let's remove the rock now. There's 3 of them, so I'm just going to roll a dice, see which one they're going to do. They're going to remove the leftmost one. And then we just finish off like tidying up. So we go through this. So return all of your guardians. Your guardians are your dice. So let's return him first. Remember, his values don't change. We can return ours as well. Our die value also do not change, so whatever we leave the board with at the end of the round is what we retain. And then so if we have a total of at least 5 yokai cards, so the yokai cards are these ones, we are able to choose one of these that we've played to score the victory points, as I described earlier, and tuck it under your board, but you have to have a minimum of 5, like somewhere. So I've got like 1 in my discard, 1 in my draw pile, 3 on the board and 2 in my hand, so I've got lots. So I can choose to tuck 1 under the board, and I think I will at this point. I think I want to get this guy out the way, the Nezumi, just because I don't want him clogging up my deck. I want access to this ability, and I also want to score him later in the game. So I'm just going to get him out of the way, I think. So 3 points, that's going to get me. And then we take the rest of the yokai. They go in the discard pile. And then finally we advance the round counter that you cannot see. And we prepare for the next round. So I will very briefly describe what we do. We reshuffle all of these. So we get new Bitoku cards, new yokai cards. These counters come off. And down here, you'll see there's like fire spaces on the like middlemost ones. So the tiles that are closest to that fire get discarded from the game, and we draw new ones to refill the spaces. So I will go ahead and do that, and I will be back in a moment. Okay, next round then. So we're all set up. I'm going to summon the yokai. So I draw until I have 4 cards in my hand. So that's, I've got 3. I need to reshuffle my discard pile and draw 1. So let's draw you. And then I have to discard 1. Now, I think I want to discard you right off the bat. I haven't got any good cards here. Yeah, let's discard you. So then my 3, and then I reap the rewards. So I have only got 1 crystal, but that's in this space, and that's not like passive income, so I ignore that. What they are going to be doing, however, is they are going to spend 1 movement point for all crystals that it has. So he has 1 crystal at the moment, so he's going to be doing 1 movement point. Now he has a priority when he resolves movement points, so he tries to progress along his Bitoku track here first, and then he tries to compete with you for the Pilgrim track, which is the one off the screen. So he's going to go just spend 1 movement point, and he's going to just score the victory points only. So he scores 4 there, which isn't amazing. And that's it. So now we're on to Summer. Now I'm first player, so I get the first dibs about what I want to do. What do I want to do? I'd like to get some more victory movement points going. That would be really good. And I want some more Mitama spirits. I'm eyeing up this Mitama spirit down the bottom here because that would match one of my rocks in my rock garden, which is very nice. I'd like a crystal as well, if I'm honest. So I think we're going to work to unlock lots of die as much as possible. So let's play you. We're going to unlock you. We're going to get 1 movement point, and I think at this point I'm going to progress. So let's pan up again and I'll show you where he ends up. I've only got 1 movement point, so I can start where my previous guy is sleeping, below that space. The next thing we do is activate this crystal. So we can unlock another die. So I'm going to unlock this die at the left-hand side. Now it's their go. 1. So let's have a look. So he's unlocking the die, spending the associated resource sake, and don't place the die, but do the action. So here's going to be do Lands of Yoni. So it's showing a Mitama. So this is a Mitama symbol here. It looks to take its favorite. It doesn't have a favorite Mitama because he actually has got a building on his rocks instead of a Mitama. If no favorite is present, it chooses at random. So I'm going to do 1, 2. In fact, I'm just going to keep rolling until I get a 1 to 4. So he's going to take the 3rd one in. He scores the victory points. He doesn't spend any resources, but he scores the victory points. So he's scoring 3. Unfortunately. And now he triggers this. So every time that he gains a Mitama spirit and has an associated dragonfly he can combine it with, what he does is he moves them over here, combines them, and he immediately gets 2 movement points. Now he's going to spend his first movement point moving over here. So he's going to get 3, 1, 2, 3 victory points, or they're called virtue points. And now he's going to start traveling along this pilgrim track. So he's going to take his first little pilgrim, and he has to start at the temple as well. And so he progresses onto the very first footprint space. Okay, I've had a good think. What I think we might do... Oh, maybe not, actually. Yeah, no, I think we're going to do that. So we're going to place a die. And we're going to actually place this number 2, I think, to go here. And that triggers this building here, so I can unlock another die. And I get to take a dragonfly or a Mitama spirit. I'm going to take this Mitama spirit here by paying the sake and combining this with my little Kadama, my dragonfly at the top. He allows me to progress a Kadama twice. I'm going to choose this one over here. And then I get a movement point or an amulet. I'm going to take a movement point. So I'm going to move my pilgrim up to the 3rd footprint space along. Yeah, I think that was a good option. There we go. So he is doing C. So he's going to place this unlocked die at his location that he wants to go to, which is the Stairs of Knowledge. Advance his Kodama in that area and then perform the action. So I believe he just gets 3 movement points. Yes. So this time around, he has not got any further Bitoku cards to move along. So what he's going to be doing is going to the Pilgrim track. Now he's got a couple of rules that he follows. If the highest scoring illumination space is available, he's going to go there. If not, he's going to keep moving forward. He's always going to try and take a gate space, however, which is the blue temple spaces, if that's correct. Yeah, so if he's at a gate fork and the Tengu does not already have a pilgrim there, it takes the best reward possible. So he's going to spend 1 to grab this very first illumination space that I ignored. He ignores the benefit of the space, but just gains twice the victory points present. So he scores 4 for that. He's then got 2 more movement points. So he's going to go 2 below his current person and then 3 move along 1. All right. He's starting to move across that pilgrim track quite fast. So I want to compete with him for that, really. I am going to cross the river. And I want to grab one of these Bitoku cards, because you'll see it, and I'll pop another screenshot up. On this pilgrimage track, there is a bridge, and it has like a Bitoku card with a tick next to it, the symbol underneath that bridge. That means you have to have progressed at least 1 card along your Bitoku track to cross that bridge. Now, I haven't got any Bitoku cards at all at the moment, so I do need to start thinking about that. I'm going to take this one here and add him onto my journey. Yeah, I think that that's the best option, potentially. I don't know. His go. So he is going to do D. So he is unlocking a die, spending the resource, and oh no, still perform the action. So he's got 3 movement points. Oh no. So what he's going to be doing is, this is complicated now. So he is now, we're going to look up at this pilgrim track. He is right below the gate space. So for his first movement point, he's going to move up and claim that very top spot. And scoring those 2 victory points, because he's doubling the victory points there. What he's then doing is something a little bit different. So he's going to be drawing. Remember, we've still got 2 movement points to resolve. He's going to be drawing the very, very top of his Tengu card and looking at the location. This is the Forge's location over here. He's then going to be resolving that location action as if he's already placed a die there, which means he is going to be, let's have a look, I think he's going to be building a building. So it's going to be building its favorite building if it can be built. So his favorite buildings are the wheat and the red. So we have got a wheat and a red. So he's going to be building a building, essentially. I'm going to roll to see which one he's going to build. 1, 2, 3, 4. He's going to take the red one. And so he is going to place that one in his most competitive Kodama region. So this could be the most competitive Kodama, or this, no, he's ahead here. So he's okay here, he's okay here, he's okay here, okay here. So he's going to place it here. This is his most competitive region. Construct the building and advance the Kodama once. All right, there we go. So now he's going to finish off his 2 other movement points. So he actually ignores this like temple bonus, the one that I'm going to dragonfly on. 1, which is directly below the gate space. 2. On top of me. All right, so I need to get some movement points ASAP, otherwise he's going to start beating me to these higher point spaces, and I really don't want that. That's not good. That's really not good. I'm just looking at where he's potentially placing. So he's going to be, his areas that he wants to go to are the Forges and the Glades of Jade. So these are both these areas. So I wonder if it's worth, because what's he going to be doing? I'm just going to check his cycle again. Is he, if I place in this area here, is he still going to be crossing before me? So he could potentially be, if he grabs this one here, he would be crossing the river and grabbing the rarest Bitoku card. So there's a high possibility that he is going to be crossing the river before me. Is it worth that risk though? I think we are going to try and compete with him just in case. So I'm actually going to spend this amulet to make this into a 2. So I can unlock another die. I don't have another die to unlock. Oh, I don't know what I'm doing actually. Shall I do that? Do I want to do that? Is it better to get a crystal? I don't have any resources to get a crystal. No, we're going to roll with it. So we don't do any of those actions, but we do get a dragonfly or a matama. I think I don't want any of these matamas. I want this dragonfly, I think. And that can get me a resource, which is quite nice. Or do I want this one here? I think maybe I want this. Or, no, let's take this one. So I get a resource. I'm going to take a sake. Yeah, and then hopefully he doesn't compete with us, but he probably will. He doesn't. I don't think. I think he doesn't. Oh my gosh. Okay, that was really good then. So yeah, at least one I left place. Yes. Is there a contested crossing? Yes. But is there a wanted yokai or Bitoku card there? No, because he's looking at the favorite yokai. His favorite yokai are the little mouse types and the old lady types. We've only got the like little bug and the frog type thing here. No. Is the location available? Yes. Is there an unlocked die? Yes. Ouch. So that's perfect. That's really, really good. C. So we're going to place the unlocked die at the location, advance the Kadama, and then perform the action. So I believe he's just going to take the resources, takes the resources shown, and then advances most competitive Kadama. Most competitive is going to be this one down here. Almost certain of it, yes. Okay. See, I did say like this one is worth 6 victory points if you're in the first place, so it's really quite good to like get in front. But like we're all really pushing for it. There's only one person that's allowed in the very final space, so they reserve that high victory point area. My go. I am absolutely going to cross the river to stop him from crossing the river. So I'm going to cross the river, and what do I want to do? I don't really want one of those yokai cards. Or do I want a yokai card like that? Could get me some movement points, which is actually going to be very useful for me. Actually, yes, I will. I'm going to take this yokai card. And you go in my hand. There you go. So they're resolving this one. He's doing D, so he's unlocking the die, spending the associated resource if there is any. There is not. These ones here are like gaining. The ones in the red flamey region down in the corner are like the associated resource. Don't place the die, but still perform the action. So he's looking at the glades of Jade, I believe. So he's going to take the resources again. So the rock and the wood. And then advance the competitive Kadama again. So he is now in first place on this 6-pointer. Okay, so we need to really place some die now. And I really desperately need to move my... Oh, I can place a die, actually. Do I want to place a die? Yes, I think so. Because what I could do... Is he going to get movement points, though? Let me think. Is he going to get any movement points? Where is he going to place? Is there any chance he's going to get a Kadama? A Matama? Kadama, Matama? Vakuna, Matada? Potentially. Oh, okay. I need to play one of these then. So what I'm going to do is play this card, unlock the die. There's no die there. I get to unlock another die, but I do get 2 movement points. So what I'm going to do at this point, we're going to have a look at our little screenshot of the pilgrimage space. I'm going to spend 1 movement point to go to the very first illumination space prior to the bridge. And I take the first space. So I get to take a value of 1 amulet, and I get 4 victory points there. 1, 2, 3, 4. My second movement space, what am I going to do? I am going to spend that one by going across here onto my first Bitoku card, because I'm now at a spot where I absolutely need to have at least 1 card completed before I cross that bridge. So I get 3 victory points for that. 1, 2, 3. And I get to take a vision card, which is good because then it allows me to sort of view what I'm aiming for. I'm automatically going to get rid of this one because I'm not focusing on buildings. I've already built 1 building, which allows me to score this, but I think we need to do this one. All right, I think we're happy with that. There go. They're doing their middle card. C. They're going to place the unlocked die at the forges. Advance the Kadama there. Oh no, he's probably going to be able to get that top spot. Then perform the action. So he is going to build its favourite building. So he's got wheat buildings here, right? Yeah, so I'm going to roll a die to see which one he builds. This innermost one. So where he's going to try and build it in the most competitive Kadama region. The most competitive is now, he's in front of me on every track. If we're on the same space, he's counted as being in front. So what I think is this one is tied with this one with being the most competitive. So I'm going to take this one to be the most competitive. He builds it there, places that, advances his Kadama one. Right. He's doing well with his Kadama. I am not. So I'm just considering whether I want to place in the home of the spirit. I don't think I do because he's got no die left to place now, which ultimately means he's not going to be competing with me for first player. So I don't know whether to stall for a moment and see if he moves across the river, which he assumingly will be, which will free up one of those spaces. And he's going to be freeing up the crystal space before the resource space. So that could be good to get a crystal. Or whether it would be more beneficial to come over here and get a Mitama. I think it might be better to go and get Mitama, you know. Actually, yes, I will do that. I will do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm actually going to spend both amulets. So this increases to value 5. I'm going to place you there. And then, because I've got value 5, I can activate any of these buildings. Which ones do I want to do? Oh, that might be really good. What I could do, I'm going to do this top left one. Because it's his building, I have to give him 1 victory point because I'm using his building. But then I get to resolve what is down here on the left-hand side. So I get to push up any Kadama of mine twice. I'm going to choose this one. But then also I get to push down one of my opponent's Kadama once. So I'm going to push him down over here. I only need to move up once and then I claim that top spot, which would be really good. And then I get to get a Dragonfly or a Mitama Spirit for a discount. I will grab this Mitama Spirit, even though it's not going to help me towards my scoring rocks. I score 1 point for that one. But that does mean I get to combine it and activate everything on it. So I get a nice 3 amulet. And I can choose to get a resource or another amulet. I think I'm going to go for another amulet. There go. So 2, grab you. So at this point, is there a wanted yokai or Bitoku there? He's looking for his favourite yokai. Unfortunately, there is one there because he's got a mouse one. So yes, what he's going to be doing then is crossing the river with this little die here. And that means he's going to be taking this card, which is actually quite unfortunate because they score a lot at the end of the game. But oh well. Oh well. Maybe I should have waited then. I don't know. Anyway, my go. I can't really do much apart from play a card. I'm going to play my Yama-Uba. And I don't unlock a die. I'm going to get 2 resources. So I think I'm going to take a Jade and a Sake. And there I go again. At this point, I think they're just going to be moving that die across the river. For 1. So actually, is there a wanted yokai or Bitoku there? There is not, because he's looking at the rarest Bitoku card. The rarest Bitoku card is actually this one over here, because that's a rarity 4, and these ones are rarity 5. So he doesn't actually really want them. So no. Is there an unlocked die? No. Inactive? Yes. Can a die cross? Yes. So he's going to go back round to A, I believe. Or is this where I'm a bit confused again? So yeah, I think I'm like following it slightly wrong again. So he's crossing the river. He's going to take the first available option. So favorite yokai, there is not a favorite yokai there anymore. The rarest available Bitoku of a type it doesn't already have. So it doesn't have that. These ones are both identical. So let's just take this one, and he's going to grab that one and add it to his journey. All right, my go. I think I passed now, from what I can see. Played all my cards, no die left to do, and I can't cross the river, so I pass. So that means he still gets a go, and he is going to be passing as well. Let's just double check to make sure. Yes, he also passes. And so discard that. That's ready for next round. We now have a look to see whether we are changing player order. We are not, because nobody has placed in the Land of the Great Spirit to contest that. So let's go straight on to winter. Nothing much, we're just removing a random rock from the garden. So which one's going? This one's going to go. And then we are going to take our die back. So let's do him first. 2, 3, 4. Then I can choose a card to put under my board if I want to. I am going to. I'm going to select the Yama-Uba, and that gets me 6 victory points. And she gets tucked under here. I do have enough, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, yeah. These guys come back into the discard pile. I've still got 1 in my hand. And then we move Great Spirit on 1. We're on round 3. And prepare the game board for the next round again. So round 3, and we are on spring. So I've got 1 card in my hand, so I draw these 2 and grab another one. So I've got some really nice scoring ones here. Which one do I want to get rid of? So this could be really, really good to get another Dragonfly, a Matama Spirit. So I definitely want to keep both of you. And do I want a movement point or a Jade or Sake? We're going to get a movement point. So discard you. At this point, what do we do? We get 1 movement point for all of the crystals that he has. So little... I was trying to... it's okay. He's actually going along this track. I was going to call him something very rude. So 1 movement point for 1 crystal. He gets 2 victory points. We're very neck and neck here. Okay. Then I go first. I don't get any benefits for crystals up here. I'd like to get some more crystals, if I'm honest, because we don't actually score these rocks at the end of the game unless we put pilgrims by them. So I ideally want to get a minimum of 4 pilgrims down here, which means I need to get another 2 minimum pilgrims out, which means I need a minimum of 2 crystals. So many things to think about. I desperately want this Matama Spirit. I don't want him to get that Matama Spirit. So what I'm going to do... yes, let's do that. I'm going to play this. which allows me to unlock this die, which allows me to move a Kodama up 1. I'm going to claim this very top spot over here for the 6 points at the end of the game. Haha! Then I'm going to grab a Dragonfly or a Mitama, and I'm going to grab this Mitama down here because he's a Frosty type, which corresponds with one of my little Mitama rocks. I can't remember what they're called. They're rocks. And remember, I get to activate this now. So I get to unlock a die. I'm going to unlock this die. And I get an amulet of value 1. So let's take you. And you get stored on my board somewhere. As well as that, I get to activate this crystal because I've just placed a card here. And this allows me to unlock another die. So all of my die are unlocked on my first turn, which is amazing. So hopefully that might give me a little bit of an edge, but we'll see. I'm usually not clever enough to figure out what he's trying to do. Sorry, I said a naughty word there. Okay, he's going to do this. So what's he doing? What's he doing? Unlocking his die, I'm assuming. D. Unlock your die. Spending associated resource if there is one. Don't place a die, but still perform the action. So he is going to... He's going to the Glade of Jade, which is here, but he's not placing the die there. So he's just going to take the Jade and the Sake and then advance its most competitive Kodama. So this is no longer most competitive because he can't surpass me anymore. He's beat me here. He's beat me everywhere else. So I think it's a tie between this one, and this one. No, I think it's the highest victory point spaces again. So let's roll. He's going to do this one. There we go. Right, where on earth do we want to go now? Where on earth do we want to go? There's so many things I want to do. So he's potentially going to be going to this point here, which means he's going to be grabbing a massive load of points if I'm not careful. And I don't want him to do that. He's going to probably do that anyway. But I think I'm going to place there so I could stop him from doing that as much as possible. And that means I could start to block these points off because I don't want him to grab this card either. I'm a bit nervous about him grabbing that card because if I remember rightly, it's a bit complicated to explain until we get to final scoring, but when he takes that card which matches his rock, it's like he's scoring for this rock with 3 different pilgrims around it. So each one of those cards is going to be allowing him to gain 6 base points at the end of the game, which is worth what every yokai card is worth for him at the end of the game, but then an extra 3 on top of that for those simulated pilgrims. So that's worth 9 points, which is a huge amount. But then conversely, he's also going to be scoring the 9 points for the Yama Uba over there. So I can't really win. So we just need to try and stop him from doing that. Stop yabbering then. I'm going to spend this amulet. I'm going to make this a 6. We're going to go hard. I'm going to get this amulet back by activating this building. I've got 4 movement points now. So what I'm going to do is come up to this track and we start at the very leftmost space from the bridge. So that's 1 movement point there. Then I'm going to go 2, cross the bridge, 3, claim that illumination space above. So I get 5 victory points. And a 2 amulet. And I've got 1 more movement point. So what I am going to do is start again and end up in the space to the right of the bridge. Yeah, I think so. I really need some more pilgrims now. His go. Ooh, interesting. I didn't really anticipate him going there. So place an unlocked die at the location, advance the Kodama, and then take that action. So I didn't really anticipate him going there, which was probably where I wanted to go in a minute. Right, I don't know where I'm looking. Where am I looking, everyone? Where am I looking? So he is at the Lands of Yomi. So his card shows a Mitama. So he's going to take its favorite. It doesn't have a favorite Metama. So it chooses at random. So I'm going to do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. He's going to take this one here. He scores the victory points, which is 1. And here we go. This is where we're starting to trigger lots of things. He has a dragonfly to combine with this. So let's move them over here. And if you look down here, every combination gives him 2 movement points. So looking up again towards the pilgrim track, what he's going to do now is continue along the bridge. So that's 1. And then he's going to move along again, 2, because what he does is he ignores the illumination spaces if the highest scoring area is not available. So I have already got there before him. So he's going to continue onwards, and he's now going to start going up towards that gate space unless I race him there. Also to say that he actually ignores the requirements for the bridges, so they only apply to me. This does, when I'm explaining it, it does seem like a very mean game. It is a very difficult game. I should have said this at the beginning. This is not a strategy guide. I have won this game once, and that was by 1 point, which was probably a calculation error by myself. So I'm not good at it. I just find it incredibly captivating and very exciting and involved, but I'm not good at it. So there we go. I think we're going to do something a little bit controversial here, and I don't know whether it's a bit silly, but I'm going to try and get there before he takes that mouse type card. I'm a bit afraid that he's going to do that, because he very likely is if he draws this card here. So I'm going to cross the river. I don't even want that card, but I think I'm going to try and stop him from getting that, because there's nothing hugely beneficial for me there. I could get another Bitoku card, but I'm not collecting that many Bitoku cards. I'm going to need another one if I want to cross the very top pilgrim space, because that needs 2 that you needed to have progressed along. But other than that, yeah, I'm going to take this, the Nezumi. I'm going to take it to stop him getting it. I don't usually do that in this game, but I have learned that I need to change my tactics somehow, because I'm not winning. So he's not even going there anyway. All right, what's he doing? I think he's just going to unlock a die. So we're actually doing B this time. So, interesting. We're activating the Tengu. So he switches this to his active side. So, in fact, I think that's only ever happened once in my game, so it'll be interesting to see how it feels now. Unlock a die, and we place it at the location and advance that Kadama. So he's coming over here, advancing the Kadama, and we're going to be building a building. So he's going to be building one of his favourite buildings. So he has got this one or this one, which are his favourite. I'm going to roll to see which one he's going to build. He's going to build this leftmost one. So he's going to try and build that in the area with the most competitive Kadama. So that one doesn't count anymore. There's no space there to build anyway. So there's no space to build it here. So it's between these 3. So he's winning in all of them. So this is the most valuable space. So he's going to place that there. Okay. I think that's not too bad. What do I want to do now then? I'm just thinking, if I place in that movement spot, where do I want to go? I really need more crystals. And unfortunately, that means I need to go over here, but he's blocked me. I also wanted to go and get a dragonfly, but he's blocked that spot too. So he's being a bit of a pain in the backside. So I could play a card. That might be a better option. Shall I play a card? I could get a crystal. Thing is though, he's gonna head towards those movement places, and he's gonna start claiming things left, right, and centre. Oh, I don't know. Yeah, let's do that. Let's do that, I think. So I'm gonna actually draw one of these. So let's discard this 3 to make this into a 4. Do I want to do that? Yes, let's do that. And then I'm going to do that 2 to make this into a 6. I can get another 1 value amulet back. And this means that I have got 4 movement points. Now I'm going to pan up to this pilgrim area. I'm currently on the space to the very right of the first bridge. I'm going to go 1, 2, 3, 4 and end my turn, put my pilgrim to sleep in the area just prior to the second bridge, and I'm going to claim that first spot. So I get an amulet of value 2 and 6 victory points. I don't know whether that was good or not. We'll see. We'll see. Yeah, because now he's going to be trying to go to that spot, I think. But then he doesn't have a die to place there, so maybe I shouldn't have worried about that. Maybe I shouldn't have worried about that. Oh well. So unlock the die. Spend the resource. So he's still going to do the action anyway. So he's got 3 movement points. So that does mean what he's going to do is claim this gate space. He's scoring 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. He draws another card. He gets to resolve a building forges action, which means he's going to be building a red building in his most competitive Kadama region. Most competitive now is that one doesn't count anymore, I don't think. So between this one and this one, he can't build there. So here, oh, excuse me, places that there, moves his Kadama up. He now has 2 movement points left, so he takes another pilgrim. 1, 2, he ends his turn 2 spaces prior to the second bridge. So he's going to be now making a beeline for that final 8-pointer at the end. So remember, he doubles his victory points, so he's going to be scoring 16 points if he gets there. So I need to grab another Bitoku card, progress along it, and race up there. But in between that, I can't even get there yet because I don't even have any spare pilgrims. And on top of that as well, I don't have pilgrims to put next to my rocks yet. So I think, honestly, we need to do everything we can to get crystals and ignore most other things. We just need crystals. Crystals. My go. So what have we got? Is there any way to get crystal from the dragonflies and stuff? Oh, actually, what I want to do is ignore that. I'm not going to look at my cards. I want to get this space. I want to compete with him for this. So I'm crossing the river. Remember, as it's a 6, I half that value. Now, what do I want? I don't want the yokai card. I need the second Bitoku card. Or, yeah, I'm going to need to. So let's take this one here. There we go. And now it's his go. He's going to go for the middle option. So he is going to place this die here, advance the Kadama, oh dear, and then perform the action. So he's got it. He gains 3 movement points. So he is going to go 1, 2, 3. He has claimed the very final space on the pilgrim track, which means he gains 16 points. I wasn't able to beat him, but maybe I can focus elsewhere now. Oh, that's pretty that's pretty disappointing, but oh well. It's quite an interesting race. On the plus side, if you actually look, the only person that he's going to be able to cross the river with is this one here. He's going to be probably taking the Yama Uber, which is really bad, but he's not crossing with either of these because I've claimed both of those spaces. So that's really good. Right, we actually need to go and place a die before we play a card, I think, because that means we can actually claim what's over the other side of the river. But then I really want him to move. What's he going to be doing? The only options that he's going to be doing are to cross the river. So if I can hang on for one more turn, what's he got? He's not going to be taking, he's going to be absolutely taking the Yamauba. Sorry, I'm talking aloud. I'm going to dither around for a bit because he is probably going to cross the river, in which case I can then go and grab a crystal, which will free up some pilgrims. Yeah, so let's go and grab this one. So I'm going to push up a Kodama. Which Kodama do I want to push up? Let's go this one, I think. And then I get a building or a crystal. So I'm going to take a crystal. Which crystal do I want, though? That is the question. Yeah, we're going to go for this one. So he unlocks this guy. And he goes in the very top spot over here. His go. He's going to go for this one. That's unfortunate. He is going to cross the river. And he is going to take the wanted yokai or Bitoku. So he is looking at the wanted yokai cards, and unfortunately he's grabbing the Yamauba, which is going to score him a nice 9 points. Oh, I really need to get a move on. This game is such a challenge. Okay, this is good though, because he's going to be forced to pass now because he can't cross the river. He's got no die. So I can just see what I want to do. So what do I want to do? That's the question. Interesting. What I think I might do is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, controversial. I'm going to increase this to a value 6 to come here. And then I'm going to activate my own building below that. So I'm going to take 2 of these and choose which one I want to keep. So this could be good, maybe. Oh, they're both equally. No, I don't want any more buildings. So I'm going to take this one here. I've got quite a few of these. I need to actually be aware of what I'm doing with those because I need to make sure that I can score them. Otherwise, I have minus points at the end of the game. With that 6, what I'm going to do is build a building and take a crystal for a discount. So let's do the building first. So usually it would cost me 1 rock. I am not going to spend that rock, but I can take this card here, this building here, sorry, and build it somewhere. And I am going to build it in this section here, maybe? Yeah. Yeah. And I can move my Kodama up twice here. And I get a crystal for a discount. And this one looks very nice. Let's unlock you. There we go. I believe he's going to be passing now, but let's just have a look. Double check because it's very easy to make a mistake. So no, he is not going to pass. See, this is what I mean. Like, I forgot he's active. So we're doing J at the moment. So deactivate the Tengu. So I think it just delays his turn a little bit, just keeps him in the game. And take the associated resource. So we get a rock. And there we go. So next time he's going to be passing. What I'm going to do is, what do I want to do? I actually want to grab, sorry, I'm talking out loud. I do desperately want to grab a dragonfly before the end of this round because I'm hoping to tuck this guy under, which allows me to score 2 points per combined dragonfly and Matama spirit. So that's going to be 2, 4, 6, 8. I'll be scoring 10 points then, which is really nice. So I can do that from this guy here. Or alternatively, I could play this guy, which gives me a movement point, and move you along, which gives me a dragonfly and 2 points. Okay, let's do that. So I move along 2 points. I get to grab a dragonfly. What do I want? What do I want? I haven't got any amulets at the moment, so that would be quite good to get some amulets. I don't know, actually. There's quite a lot of good stuff here. This one is Kadama. I can move up twice, which will allow me to like push beyond him a little bit. Shall I do that, or shall I get an amulet? Let's push up the Kadama, I think. Or, I don't know. I'm chickening out. I'm getting the amulet. So I actually can choose a resource to grab as well. I think I'm going to grab a jade. And then I can combine both of these together. Now remember, I've already activated the Mitama spirit because you activate their ability when you take them. So I only activate the dragonfly, which has gained an amulet of value 2. There go. So they haven't yet passed, remember? So they're going to take this one here. Let's just make sure they're passing. He is passing. Good. Stop being annoying. My final turn, I think, because I can't place any more cards. I can't place any more die. However, I can cross the river. So I'm going to cross the river over here. Now, I don't think I particularly want any more Bitoku cards. I mean, I could get them and they'll be nice, but what I think I might do instead, I could do this action, which is take 2 of the shown actions, non-equal, and one of those is place a pilgrim next to a rock. But I'm just thinking this Bitoku card up here, if I manage to move on to it, he will allow me to place a person next to a Bitoku rock anyway. So I'm going to actually take him because he's going to be better for me, I think, as long as I can get there. He's passed. I can't do anything else. So that is the end of the round. End of summer. Nobody's placed in the Land of the Great Spirit, so I remain to be the first player. We are taking out the last rock from the rock garden, and we are preparing for the next round. So remember, I've got quite a few yokai cards, and I'm going to select this guy here to tuck under my board. And his scoring criteria is for every combined Mitama and Dragonfly, I can score 2 points up to a maximum of 12. So I get 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 points here for just getting him out of the game, which is really, really nice. Oh, excuse me. There we go. So 10. So 46. Oh, we're neck and neck. You're in the discard, you're in my draw pile. So these guys just go into the discard pile. And we are in the final round of the game. We are absolutely lagging behind in terms of getting our pilgrims next to our rocks. I always do this. I leave it too late. So we're just going to prepare the board for the next round. So first things first, he's going to be gaining 1 movement point for each crystal he has. So he has a grand total of 1. So at this point, he can't move along there. So let's have a look where he's going to start along here. He's already got to the very end of the pilgrim track. What I think he's going to do is start a pilgrimage on the second-most space on from the first bridge. So he's going to be directly below the second temple space, with the idea that he's going to try and claim that last illumination spot before the last bridge. And then I'm just going to be summoning the yokai. So I have got 1, 2, 3. Grab another one. Grab you. And who do I want to get rid of? So this one could get me another crystal. Have I got enough time to do anything with my crystal? I definitely want this guy because he can get me a couple of movement points. So I can move over there. I wonder if I have to use both. Probably not. I definitely want this dragonfly Mitama one. And I don't want rocks or wood, if I'm honest. So we're going to grab these 3. We don't reap the benefits because this is to do with scoring points every time you place a rock. So let's go straight on to summer phase. Wow, and we go first. Overwhelmed is what I am. So if we place this guy, let me think about it. No, let's place this guy. I'm going to unlock you. I'm going to move a Kodama up once somewhere. Let's do this one. No, let's do this one. And then I can get a building or a crystal. I'm going to take a crystal. Which one do I want? Which one do I want? We're going to spend 1 resource, a jade, to take this one here to awaken this pilgrim. And then we get to activate this crystal here as well, so we can unlock a second die. There go. All right. So he is activating B. So this is activate the Tengu. So he's being pain in the backside. So he's unlocking a die and then placing it at the location. So this is just awful. And then advancing his Kodama. And then performing the action. Oh, little monkey. So he's going to be grabbing a dragonfly and takes 1 randomly. So I'm waiting for a 1 to 4. So he's going to grab this one. That is a pain. I didn't want him to do that. Of all things I didn't want him to do, that was it. Oh well. Let's move on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to place a die. It doesn't matter which one. I'm going to place this one over here. We're going to be risky and try and see if we want another one of these. Probably not. We don't want this one. We're going to hope that we can get this. I don't think we will, because now we need 4 resources to end the game with. And then that means I can grab a crystal or a building. I'm going to grab a crystal. And I'm just going to grab this one because I only want him for the pilgrim. So I don't want to spend anything. Yeah. 3. Good. I didn't want him to place at that other space. So he's resolving D. So unlock a die. Spend the associated resource, which is sake. So don't place, but still perform the action. So he is going to do the action at the forges. I'm already there, but he's still doing the action. So he's looking at his favourite ones. So this is the only favourite building he's got. So he's going to be building this one in the area at which is most competitive. So the only places that he can build this now are this one and this one. And they're both equally competitive, I think. So I think I've been playing it very slightly wrong. When you have tied Kodama, it does say if multiple Kodama are the same number of moves behind you or none are behind you, choose the one where the first place victory points award is the highest, which we've been doing, or the one further to the left if still tied. So this one is going to be the target here. So he's going to build there. There we go. And that was it. This gets such an interesting game at the end because there's so many things that you can do. And I want to do them all so badly. And it's quite tricky to know what they're doing. Tell you what, I desperately want those resources. That would be really, really helpful for me. So we are going to increase this to value 5. Yeah, we may as well. They're not worth anything at the end of the game. So I get a massive load of resources here. So I get 2 from this building here. I'm going to just take a jade and a sake. And then I get another 2 up here. So I'm going to also take a jade and a sake. Oh, wow. He's going to go for that one at the very far left again. So he's unlocking a die. Spend the associated resource. There isn't one. Then he's going to not place the die but still perform the action. I believe he's just going to take the wood and the stone. And then advance its most competitive Kodama. So you're not, you're not, you're not, you're not, you're not. So next one is highest victory points. So tie between knees. And so this one is the most competitive. We're going to come here, unlock you, and grab a Matama. Yeah, I don't know which one to grab. I ideally want this one, but unfortunately I'm not getting a discount, so that's going to cost me 3 resources, which is quite a lot. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to get any more resources now. And I need 1, 2, 3, 4 resources for the end of the game. So maybe I'll go for this one. But then this one's going to be worth more points. You know what? We're going to do it. We're going to spend 2 sake and a jade. Score 5. And I get to do this action now. Unlock a die, gain an amulet. Yeah, I think so. Okay. This is stressful now, so what's he up to? I don't know. When I'm blocking him, I don't really know what he does. So yes, he's trying to place die. He's not at a contested crossing. The location is not available. Is there a locked die? No. Is there a contested crossing? No. Okay, so at this point, he is going to place his unlocked die in the Home of the Spirit. He's going to be scoring, he's going to be advancing his Kodama. And then scoring 3, 4, 5. Because 3 victory points for standard and then 2 for every 5 or 6 that I have in the forest region. So where's he going to try and go? He's almost certainly not going to come over here. So at this point, I think I might move. So I don't actually want a crystal. So I'm going to come here. So I'm going to cross, what am I looking for? 4. And I'm going to activate this last one then. So this means I can do 2 of the non-equal actions. So my choices are to take a vision card, place a pilgrim next to a rock, take a rock from the rock garden, or advance a Kodama. So I'm going to choose to place a pilgrim next to a rock in my garden. So I'm going to choose this one here. And then I'm going to, what shall I do? Advance a Kodama somewhere. Let's do this, this one. Actually, no, I'm not. No, I'm not. Move you back. Move back my Kodama. What I'm going to do instead is take this card instead, because what I can do in a minute is take that to do place my person by the rock anyway, and it does also then give me 2 movement points, which means I could probably do something with this last guy if I'm lucky enough. I don't know. Let's do that. Oh, but I can actually move. Yeah, that's much better. I'll show you what I'm doing in a minute if I remember. So he's resolving this one, and if he allows me to, he's probably going to block whatever I'm doing now. He is resolving A, so he's actually crossing the river now, which is interesting. And he's going to take the wanted, his favourite yokai. So unfortunately, he's grabbing this Yana Uber, which is detrimental. But we'll worry about that later in the scoring. He's only 1 point ahead of me at the moment, but you watch him in the final scoring, he'll just fly through. What I wanted to do was, I don't know whether actually I should compete with him here. Yeah, let's do something like that. So actually what I'm going to do is, let's grab you, increase the thingamajiggy of this one by 1, so it's a 4. I'm going to place you here. Which means I can, unfortunately, I can't activate any of the buildings underneath it. The number 2 is just unlock a die, but all my die are unlocked. I can take a dragonfly or a Matama spirit for a discount. Interestingly, I can get a dragonfly to combine, which would be really nice. Or what I could do is grab another one of these, which will give me points at the end of the game, but I won't be able to combine it. In all honesty, I think this is going to be better for me. So what I'm going to do here is take this, I get a resource, let's take a sake. I'm going to grab you and you get combined, which means I get to take 2 Bitoku cards from the deck and choose one to pop in my pathway. So I'm going to take this one because I don't have him yet. Remember, you score for unique ones in your pathway. I think I'm happy with that decision. And then you'll go, so you are probably, I don't know. I've never resolved this one before. It's doing I. So he is going to place an unlocked die in the location of the most competitive Kodama, excluding the home. So where's the most competitive Kodama now? Not here, not here, not here, not here. So he's winning in everything, basically. So potentially this one, because he's only 1 space ahead. He's miles ahead of me there. So yes, this is the most competitive one. So he's going to be placing his die here. So place an unlock die, most competitive die, advance the Kodama, yep, perform the action. So he's got 3 movement points now. So he can't go up here any longer along his Bitoku path. So he's going to go 1, 2, 3. He's going to claim the second to last illumination spot and claim 8 victory points. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. That's quite a lot of victory points at this point in the game. So that means all of his die are now gone. What I'm going to do then on my turn is to stop him from crossing the river, because he will probably be gaining another Bitoku card. So I'm going to cross the river. And I'm going to do this one now. So I'm going to place a pilgrim next to a rock. And then what do I want to do? A Kodama? I think I'm going to do a Kodama. So let's move this Kodama up 1. His go. Yeah, here we go. J. So I think deactivate the Tengu. And then take the associated resource, Jade. And then that means next round he's basically done. He's going to be, sorry, what's he doing? He's passing next time. So he's done. What can I do? I can play a card, or I can cross the river. So let's cross the river. I'm going to place a pilgrim. Let's place you here. Some of these spaces mean you need to discard a resource, so I'm going to pay a sake to do that. And then I'm going to advance a Kodama. Do I want to do that one? Yeah. He is going to go. Sorry, I was still on my turn in my head. So he's going to do the first card, and I believe he is passing, but we'll see. So he passes. The only things left for me to do then are to play a card. And the only card that I want to play is this one here. So I get to place another pilgrim next to a rock. So let's place this. I don't think it matters. So this is cheaper, and I get 2 movement points. Get 2 movement points. So I have 1 pilgrim left. So I don't think I can gain anywhere. I could gain 1 point from the very first pilgrimage track area. 1, 2, I won't be able to do anything there. 1, 2, I won't be able to do anything there. And I won't be able to do anything there. So the only thing that's going to be beneficial for me to do is, and this is quite cool. Ooh, I've just remembered as well. Every time I place a pilgrim next to a rock, I gain a victory point. So I've done 3 so far since I've got that. So I haven't been doing that. I'm going to use my 2 movement points to move up these spaces. So here I get 4 points. 1, 2, 3, 4. I can place another guy next to a rock. Do I want to do that? Because that means I'm going to be minusing points at the end of the game because I don't have enough resources now. I think so. I think that's still going to be worth it because ultimately that guy that's going to be sitting there is going to be worth 1, 2, 3 points. So yes, let's pop you there and spend a jade. Then, oh, here we go. My final one. 1, 2, 3 victory points, and I gain a resource. It's almost as if I planned it. He has passed. He's already done that. So he's passed. Don't need to do anything with him anymore. And I pass. I can't do anything else. So the only things left to do are to finish off resolving everything in autumn. So unfortunately, he has pipped me to the post here with the turn order. And so he does claim that first player space back. That's important to do now because he's going to be scoring 3 points at the end of the game for that. And then take all of the die back. And we're going to finish off our bit. So let's take my die. Keep the values, it's important. And then we can choose if we want to score any of our yokai. And I'm going to. So this one, for every completed Bitoku card, I get 2 points, up to a maximum of 12. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 completed Bitokus. So 8 points for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then that is the end of the game. We just go straight into final scoring. So we're going to score him first, just because I find it a little bit easier. So he is going to score nothing for any visions. He doesn't have any like final scoring cards. He gains 2 victory points per crystal that he has. So he's only got 1 crystal, so he gains 2 points. If he's first in the turn order, he gains 3. 1, 2, 3, he is. Victory points according to its Bitoku path. So let's have a look in the book. I wish it's all a bit all over the place. Where is it? We've got a table in here which shows you for the amount of different Bitoku types that you have gained throughout the game. It doesn't matter whether you have actually completed the cards by progressing along them. It's just you have to have just acquired them. So he's got 3 different unique types. So he's scoring 4 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4. So now we do the Kodama races. So we're going to do them simultaneously for both of us. So we're tied here. So what happens is we add the points of the first position and the second position. So we've got 5 plus 3 is 8. And we divide that. So we both gain 4 points for that. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. And we both use there as well. Here he is scoring 4 plus 2, 6 divided by 2. So he's going to score 3. 1, 2, 3. And I'm assuming I don't get anything. Yeah, so I don't get anything for that one here because they've taken the first and second place. Next one, he gains a whopping 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I gained 1 for that one. And then here, he only gets 2. So he's doing quite well here. I gained 6 though for the very final one. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And he gains the 4. Not too bad. So here we go. So he gains 3 victory points for each of its starting yokai cards and 6 victory points for each acquired yokai, except for yokai matching its Irakura Rock, which are worth 6 and 9 respectively. So if we have a look at his cards, he has got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 base cards, which he always starts with. So that's going to be just straight 15 points because that's worth 3 each. So let's do that now. So that's 97, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then for ones that he's acquired, we have a look to see whether it's just a random card or whether it matches his rock. Now he has got the Nezumi on his rock, and he's also got the Yama Uba as like wild cards. So because I think you can like use them. You can use them like for symbols if they come up elsewhere. I don't know. I'm a bit confused with them. But anyway, he's got 3. So unfortunately, he is scoring a whopping, oh my God, 27. Yeah, so 9 points for each of these 3. So 20, so 22, and then 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. He's on 129 so far. Finally, he gains 3 victory points for each of its buildings or Matama Spirit matching its complementary rock. So buildings, he's got the wheat buildings and the temples. So what we got? We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 times 3, 18. Oh my God. So 49, 47. Ouch, ouch, ouch. 1 victory point per resource it holds. So he's got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wow, he's done really well. He's done really well. For its buildings, it gains the visible victory points from its removed building counters. So I'm not sure if you can 100% see it, but you might be able to see it on mine actually. When you reveal buildings, you reveal victory points. So he's got 5, 10, 13, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 176 he ends the game with. Wow, that is an impressive score. I don't know whether we'll be able to beat him there. My best score I think is 143. So yeah, that's quite a significant amount more. Anyway, I didn't get my last victory point for that guy again. I am so silly. So we reap the fruits. So we still collect the benefits from here. This isn't going to make any difference towards the end of the game now for me, so I won't bother doing that. We've already done the first player in the player order. So I have got 1, 2, 3, 4 different Bitoku cards. So I gained 7 points for that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. We've already done the Kadama races, so we ignore that. Now we have a look at our Irakura rocks. So let's do the one on the left first. So this is with my Icy Matama Spirit and as a wild card, my poisonous Matama Spirits. So I have got 1, 2, 3. Now you multiply that by the number of pilgrims that are adjacent to it. So I've got 3 times 3, so I gain 9 from that. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Excuse me. My next rock has water type Matama Spirits plus the poisonous ones. So again, my poisonous one can count for this rock as well. So that is 1, 2, 3. So I've got 3 times 2 pilgrims that are next to it. So 6. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Not too bad. Not amazing though. So each player now adds up the current value of all 3 of their die, plus the number of resources they still hold, and then divide that by 4 and earn the victory points from that. So I've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. Divided by 4 is 3. 1, 2, 3. Wow, we're not doing great. visions revealed. So now we have a look at our vision cards and we sort of put things towards them until we have managed to complete them all. And if we don't complete some, we have to minus the victory points. So I need to have at least one resource, a crystal, and a combination of dragonfly and Matama. I have done that. I need 2 illumination spaces. I have got 2. I've got 1, 2, 3. Another crystal. So I can't count that same crystal, so I need at least 2 crystals now. And another resource. I need 3 resources. I have 3. A Matama spirit. It doesn't matter if it's combined or not. And a gate space. I have 1 gate space. Another thingy. Matama. Yep. Another 3rd crystal. And at least 1 Bitoku card. And finally, 1 building. I have built 2 buildings actually. Another illumination space, which we do have. What did I say? I've got 1, 2, 3 of them. Good, so I've just got enough. And I needed a 4th resource. So we have managed to do them all. So that's 10, 14, 18, 22 points. That's not too bad. So 22. And then finally, add up the number of endgame virtue points shown on your player boards. So when you are placing crystals, you reveal victory points. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And then by your buildings, 11, 12, 13, 14. So 38. 1, 2, 3, 4. Wow. He's wiped the floor with me. So he finishes with 176. I finished with my second to highest score, 142. Wow. I thought I was doing reasonable in that one as well. But this seems to be, it's a very competitive game, and I still don't quite know how to push above him. But I am so captivated by this game. Just don't use my tactics as a strategy. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed this playthrough. Join me in a moment for my final thoughts on Bitoku. So talking a little bit about the solo mode of Bitoku. This is just one of the biggest, most complicated solo modes that I have ever played. I think it only rivals that perhaps of Tricarion that I've played before, which definitely takes a while to get into the flow of. And I must admit, like, I played this one initially double-handed just to sort of really just go through the motions of what each action did. And, you know, there was a lot going on, but it did make logical sense. And then I played it very slowly with the Automa. And I think it took me an hour to resolve the first round. And so all in all, it was about a 3.5 hour game. And I just sort of came out of it like, how is this ever going to get quicker? Like, there's just so much here. Why is it so complicated? Then I played it again, and that's when it sort of fell into place like, oh, actually, you can sort of speed through quite a lot of it when you're a bit more familiar and just get to the points where you're just like, oh, actually, the position they want to go in isn't available. So I just need to be a bit more careful about what they're doing because I haven't learnt that bit yet because you don't see it as often. So, you know, there's a lot going on, and it does definitely take a reasonable while to get used to. But I have to say that this is an absolutely incredibly well thought out and planned solo mode. It doesn't necessarily do everything intricately like another player would, but what it's actually simulating behind the scenes is incredible, and the final scoring, I think, simulates a multiplayer game so much. Like, the fact that each yokai card, the favorite yokai card that is trying to like accumulate, gets 9 points at the end of the game is just so well planned. Like, I think it's trying to take into account like the victory points that you would score from tucking those yokai cards behind your like board throughout the game, but as well as thinking about, oh, it's actually the player would be placing rocks next to that particular pilgrims next to that particular rock to score points. It is so intricate. It does an absolutely fabulous job. at being a competitive and challenging opponent. I can't even begin to describe how captivating this game is to me, and I'm not even sure why. I think it may be how balanced everything feels in each of your actions, and how that each of your individual actions is actually incredibly simple. You're just placing a die and resolving a little action like you would in any other worker placement game. But the fact is, you're so intricately tied to the AI that you're very much concerned with where they're going, what they're looking at, and what area of the board they're going to be trying to focus on potentially, whether you're trying to race with them to get across the river as well, because those extra cards that you gain are so important. I think the fact that I'm able to score points from everything that I'm doing in the game essentially makes it a really interesting game, and very point salad-y like, but very rewarding every single turn. So there's never like a wasted go. There are a couple that you're like, oh, you haven't unlocked a die there, but you can see your whole pathway and your whole turn like unraveling before you, where you're like planning everything in your head, and it's just so satisfying to see it all click together. Honestly, I absolutely love everything about this game. I love the pilgrim track at the very top when you are trying to race with your opponents to get to those higher victory point spaces, as well as triggering like little bonuses along the way with your temples and your amulets. I love the balance of using those amulets to increase your value of your die, to make your die stronger, but there's always that struggle of, I need to get a die placed now, but it's a lower value than I want it to be, so do I try and get an amulet before I place that die? It's a fantastic struggle. I just love everything. I love everything about this game so much. And if you've watched my video that's hopefully being released before this one, with my ranking video, this one is in an S tier game for me. It's a real special game. And just everything, a combination of how the AI works, how intricate it is, how challenging it is, the visual appearance of the game on the table, what you're doing, how many combos that you can trigger, however different points you like. Some of these games, I'm just rambling because I'm so excited about this game. Some of these games that I feel that you can definitely see or feel that one aspect of the game is maybe stronger. This game, I've heard people say that they think that the building route is stronger if they really go heavy down buildings. I don't necessarily think that that is the case, because I just haven't felt that myself, if I'm totally honest. It's definitely a strong strategy, and maybe I should have competed with them a bit more with that and also gone down the buildings route. But I feel like this is a very well balanced game. I feel like you can achieve victory points no matter what route you go. And it's not necessarily so competitive with the AI that it feels unachievable if you're both going towards the same goal. You're still both generating a lot of points all the time. So again, it's just extremely rewarding and just satisfying to see all of that pull together. I especially love as well how you have such a tricky time on your turn deciding what you want to do, because you have the ability to unlock die in different ways, and that may mean that you're actually playing like just one card to unlock a die, and you're actually, like me, I was triggering an unlock, and so I had all of my die unlocked before I really played any cards at all. And that just meant that I could be really aggressive in my like die placement, so I could get across the river before they did. Didn't work out to my favour. I still don't know how to win against this thing, but I just find that very interesting, that you don't necessarily have to follow the motions of place a card, activate the card, then you unlock the die. Then the next time you place that die, then you do it again. So you place a card. You can change up that order as much as you like if you are clever in your die placement. And I find that very interesting. It's quite a different feeling game, and it can change up the way the game feels each time you play. I will say that I do feel like the base game rules of Bitoku are particularly very good. I mean, this is a very big, complicated game, and so there is a lot to explain. Going through it though, I was quite clear on what all of the action spaces were trying to do and what was going on when. I wish that they translated that time and effort into making the rules clear and simple into the solo mode. it's not so much, I'm not even talking about the like complexity of it now. It's just there are a few like exceptions, and there have been a few instances where things don't quite make sense in the way that it's worded, and I've had to like dig through the Board Game Geek forums a little bit just to have a little bit extra clarity of when and where it's going to compete with you, or especially along the Pilgrim track, how its movement points are going to be spent. And also, I wasn't 100% sure what happens when it's completed all of its buildings, because it never actually clarifies anywhere whether it continues to try and build buildings and manages to do so, or whether it skips its turn entirely, or whether it then considers, oh, I can't actually do that action, so I'm going to proceed and resolve an action after that. Never clarifies any of that, and so that's very frustrating when this is a exceedingly complex solo mode that you don't need extra time out to sift through forums to get underway. It needed to be just that bit clearer. In addition, they desperately needed a separate player aid for the solo mode. It's just in the booklet, so I've gone away and printed my own. As I said, I've got a flowchart which I follow, and I find that a lot more easy to follow. As you can see, that there's still some instances where I either follow it around a little bit incorrectly, or I'm misunderstanding something just slightly. It's to do with the die placement though, so it's quite easy to trigger in your mind like, okay, that's not quite right, I don't think it's going to do that, and then you can look at it again. So I would just highly suggest that you find a way that you're visually happy with to run this mode, whether that is follow the sentences in the book, just like a checklist, or whether you wanted to go down the route of the flow chart. Is sort of up to you whether you're a more visual person or not, but I find the flow chart quite useful, and it makes it a lot more simple to run. I say simple to run, just a bit quicker. Because I will say though, as much as I'm blowing this game's horn, I absolutely love it. It is one of my favourite games, if I'm totally honest. I will say that it is not one that I would necessarily recommend to everyone. As you could see if you've got to this point in the video, you absolutely need to be 100% committed to learning a in-depth, complicated automa that doesn't necessarily have everything spelled out to you, and you need to do a little bit of digging and work to make it run smoothly. But once it is running smoothly, it's so much fun and a real challenge. As I said as well, I've only won once by 1 point. So I think that there is actually a particularly, and the scores that it gets each time range between, I think its lowest was in the 120s, highest, I think this is one of the highest scores today, 176. So there is definitely some variability there in its scoring, but it's always feeling very competitive, and not so competitive that I don't feel welcome to come back again into the game. There's some games that Underwater Cities is the big one for me. No matter what I do, I cannot break that 100 victory point score. And I've even had a look through forums about tips and tricks and things that I can do. And I've employed those strategies and I still can't do it. So as much as I like Underwater Cities, that can turn you off a little bit, or turns me off a little bit into continuously playing, because I'm just like, I just don't know where else to turn. This hasn't put me off yet. I think it still feels achievable and attainable every single time, and it's not a clear winner until you're actually figuring out the scores at the end of the game, because you're scoring from so many different aspects. So it keeps it nice and interesting all the way through to the end. This is definitely a longer game as well, saying that, so it's quite important that it does keep your interest all the way through. I've got it down to about an hour and a half now in my plays, so that's not too bad, but essentially the first couple of games are going to be a good number of hours. Visually as well, this game is just something really special for me. I particularly like the Studio Ghibli atmosphere that it's giving, and it's definitely taken a lot of ideas from that sort of universe. The artwork on the board is just absolutely stunning, and I know some people have said that they find all of everything on the board just overly busy. I don't think it is. I mean, obviously there's a lot of colour, and if you're very much put off by a lot of colour, I can imagine that this game isn't necessarily that much for you. But I actually find the iconography in this incredibly clear if you know where you're looking and what you're looking at. So I guess because I am a lot more familiar with it now, that it's just, I feel like I'm coming home, if I'm honest, when I'm looking and feeling this game. It's something really special, and the artwork is just lovely to really look at, because I'm just looking now and there's things on it that I just haven't seen before. You've got the little spirits that you're seeing on the actual board, just left, right, and everywhere, and just it's something quite magical about all the artwork and the world that it's building. Component quality as well is really spot on, not a bad thing to say about it. We've got some beautiful wooden meeples and everything, and my favourite one, oh, if I can grab him, is the spirit. If I can bring him up to the camera, I don't know if it will focus, there we go. He's just so lovely. He's the round counter, one of my favourite player pieces, or pieces in a board game. All of the cardboard is really nice and thick. The board is double-sided as well, so you can play with 3 to 4 players. I can imagine it's a lot of fun with 3 to 4 players. You have an additional layer of complexity in that one as well, because I believe you have more die spaces in each region, and in order to place in the same region, you have to place a die that is of higher value to everything else there. It doesn't really come into play in a 1 or 2 player game. But I can imagine that just adds just something a little bit extra to think about, which creates an extra layer of importance to those amulets when you're increasing those die values. So I think I will leave that one there, because I can't think of many negative things to say about it. And I would just be sat here gushing about it all day if I'm left up to my own devices. So just take away from this that Bitoku, initially I wasn't 100% sure whether it was going to be that good a game, because when you look at Board Game Geek and the solo mode, a lot of people don't actually recommend it, and I just pushed that aside. I was like, I want to play this game because of the visual aspect of it and the theme. It really appealed to me. I was like, I'm sure it's complicated, but I've played complicated games before. I'm going to give it a go, and I'm so glad I did, because I found one of my favorite games of all time here. And yeah, it's just phenomenal game, but just beware that it's a lot to go through, and if you're a little bit put off by solo modes that require upkeep or take you out of your turn necessarily, then this one may not be for you, because it certainly can sort of detract from your strategy just a little bit, because you're spending a reasonable amount of time resolving what they're doing. So thank you very much for joining me on the playthrough of Bitoku today. I hope you enjoyed it. Let me know down below if you have played this game and what you think of it solo, because I know so many people just don't particularly enjoy it, and I'd really be interested to hear your personal experiences. If you did enjoy the content today, please consider subscribing to the channel, and you will be let know of any future releases that I do. Otherwise, have a lovely rest of your day, and I will see you on the next one. Bye bye!